Okay, so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because I need to get this done. I'm replacing the Pitman and idler arm link on my 2004 Chevy Express 2500 HD van. There are the new parts. Normally I don't like to replace parts that are good, but this link is attached to the idler arm, and I don't want to mess around with trying to pop this off because these are big parts and these are hard to get apart, and it's worth spending the extra 20 bucks to get this link along with these two arms in a kit. I'll put links in the description where you can get these things. First of all, you're gonna need a 13/16 wrench for the ball joint nuts, as well as vice grips to grab the ends of the center shafts so that they don't spin around. And you'll need a 13/16 socket, and you'll need a 1 5/16 socket or wrench. You definitely want to use air as much as you can for this job. These bolts are in there real tight. They're big bolts, and they are hard to get out. First thing you want to do if you have time is to spray all the nuts and bolts with penetrating fluid. That is the idler arm, and that's the link. That is the Pitman arm. That attaches to the steering box. That's the 1 5/16 nut. And that's the ball joint nut. I already have these loosened. Thankfully this one is actually ready to come out because it wasn't really stuck in this linkage. They are the 13/16 bolts. Use the air, zip them out, and this thing is out. To remove this side, it's a little more complicated, but it's still not that bad. First of all, jack the van up, put a jack stand under there. Reason for that is to get this sway bar out of the way so you can remove these 3 bolts. You might actually need to lower the van back down to get to this bolt, but that will unbolt the steering box from the frame so that you can move it like this and get this nut to clear this frame. Otherwise the nut's basically right up against the frame, just like that, and you can't reach it with anything, possibly a wrench, but I don't have a wrench that size and I couldn't find one at any of the stores near me. Actually, I need to pull this wheel in like that. That helps this assembly move such that I can get to the nut like that. Then you just put the air gun on there and zip that nut off. That thing's on there real tight, 125 foot-pounds, I believe. Slide this boot out of the way. Now once you have the nuts off of the Pitman arm, you need to get a Pitman arm puller. You can rent a kit like this, or you can buy the individual pieces. So this is going to be the one that you're going to use on this giant Pitman arm on this vehicle. Of course, I can't get it out of the fucking kit now. That is how that goes on there. And when you tighten this nut, it will pull this arm off of the shaft. Definitely want to wear safety glasses, because these things can break. You don't need pieces of metal going into your eyes. You're going to want to use a breaker bar to wrench on this thing because these things are on there tight. You got to use your whole body weight on the breaker bar and it will come off. And when that's off of there, this will slide down or swing down, and then you can work on removing this part. And you'll want to use the tie rod end puller out of your kit to remove the ball joint side of the Pitman arm. that's off. That's why you wear these. Now you can clean up these fittings or sockets or whatever. Now we can prepare these parts for installation. Basically, you need to install the grease fittings, and each part should come with its own grease fitting. The idler arm grease fitting goes there. The link comes with a fitting and a plug. That's because you have the option of putting the grease fitting on the top or on the side here. And so the other hole needs to be plugged. I'm gonna put mine on the side. And the Pitman arm grease fitting goes there. Just use a wrench and install the fitting. Just like that. And it looks like they have grease already charged into these things, but I'm gonna add a little bit of my own grease in there. One thing to consider when buying your Pitman arm is that there is a version with 4 thick notches inside of here, and there's another version with 3 thick notches inside of here. So you need to make sure you get the right one for your van. You're gonna have to look that up based on your van's specifications. Now you can get your idler arm and idler arm link ready. Just look at your old one and see how it went together, or just look at this video. Goes together like that. Put the bolt on. It is a self-locking nut. Sorry, I didn't mean to say bolt. It's a nut. I like to put a little grease around there. Slide that on there. Put the nut on. This is a 1-inch nut. Actually, it might be a 15/16. The 1 inch is a little loose on it. So now to reinstall them, put that side on first. It'll help you line everything up. You might have to lift that wheel so that you can move it around easily, and that'll also help line everything up. So now that one's on, and that will help you align the Pitman arm. Literally just slide it on there and bolt this on. Torque this nut to 125 foot-pounds. That's really critical for safety reasons. You can line that up, put that nut on, and finally you can bolt the steering box back to the frame. And don't forget to slide this dust boot back down. You want to torque these nuts to 46 foot-pounds and torque these bolts to 76 foot-pounds. This nut, I'm not sure. I'll put that one in the description if I can find it. Otherwise, just make it really tight. That's what I did. And same thing for the steering box bolts. And then don't forget to put in your cotter pins, and then your front plastic panel, and then your job is complete. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.